I do.
You
You
know.
know. All right, I got the studio. I got the studio. In the beginning. In the beginning. Have you seen that clip?
In the beginning.
It was an African dude, he was a preacher, trying to read. Is that in the beginning? He was like in the beginning in the beginning.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Man, it's been so long since we've done this. Hold on.
What? I got this. I got this because you on delay. I got it. What it do? What it do? What it do? You better be following who? Them boys at the firm. You know what I'm saying? That is the new. Welcome. Throw those likes up. Smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? Tell your friend that we on. You know what I mean? Because this is the new. It's not just a firm podcast anymore. We told y'all we was coming with pressure. It's the Firm Pressure Podcast. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody doing good. Can you hear me? Mic check.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Hope everybody can hear us. If y'all can't hear us, let us know. You know what I'm saying? We doing some new things, some different things. You know what I mean? Pulling from different directions, different motivations, and it's about to be a new year pretty soon. So we trying to do things new, not different, just new. It's the Firm Podcast, but it's the Firm Pressure Podcast. You feel me? So we about to get some pressure on. What's going on, bro? How you doing today? You know what I'm saying? Doing good?
Man, it's been a beautiful Sunday, man. Can't complain. Won't complain. Don't need to complain. And trust me, I got people who will hear me complain.
Right?
But
I feel you. I feel you.
We're not gonna do it though, man. Man, just super excited about life in general. Super excited about the direction that I'm going in. You know, and really just like super excited, man, about the opportunity really to just see what God's gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, and the hope is that everybody that I come in contact with, everybody that I'm friends with, associates with, relationship with, that everybody comes in and walks away. So that's gonna be my mindset moving forward, man. Is being intentional about the things that I say. You know what I mean? Being intentional about the words that come out of my mouth.
Okay.
Because we can get so caught up in the emotions of things. We can get so caught up, man, in like wanting to be heard. You know that sometimes if you're not careful,
yeah,
you can really overstep boundaries and not even realize it. You can really walk into uncharted territory, uncharted boundaries. Just by the things you say, the things that you're not careful with saying, the things you're purposely saying, the things you're saying, but you don't mean to say. I mean, there's a whole lot of directions you can say, but at the end of the day, man, I'm just being intentional.
okay.
Just being intentional, bro. And yourself, man, how was your day going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Today, Thankfully, I didn't have to work like I did yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Working for the man every night and day. I don't know if that's how big wheels keep on turning, but either way, in my life, I had to go in yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So today I got a chance to chill. Got to see my daughter. You know what I mean? Spend some time with her. I also got invited out to a shoot. You know what I'm saying? For somebody's skit that most of my friend peer groups don't even know that I know, and how we connected and what he pulling me into to me is incredible. You know what I'm saying? They already been talking about me featuring or being uh, having a role in a play. I'm like, where art for thou? You know what I'm saying? Trying to get my my actor credits ready. You know what I mean? So other than that,
Ooh.
man, just taking advantage of every new opportunity that comes my way. You know, some of us say what we want, but a lot of us don't go after what we say we want. And if anybody that knows me knows, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, if anybody that knows me knows that, I was talking about wanting new things. You know what I mean? Going into new. I want what's new experiences, new heights, new lows, new whatever it is, good or bad, better or indifferent, um, whatever series of fortunate or unfortunate events that life holds. I just want them to be new. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got a problem with a problem. You know what I mean? We older now. I'm in my 40s. I don't have a problem with a problem. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't like having the same problems over and over, over. You know what I'm saying? And when you make it clear to some folks or yourself or whoever's in your life what problems are being repeated, a lot of times those people never change. I heard the thing, you say it a lot. You be like, you talk about change behavior. Like you can apologize, but change behavior is better than an apology. And I know a lot of people know that saying or that, you know what I mean, that phrase. Um, but at the same time, you're the person in my life that kind of pushes that narrative that it's like, you really have to be accountable for what you're talking about. And when you're telling somebody what you don't want to repeat and they just can't get the message, at some point, you got to stop being hard on them and you got to start being hard on yourself. And you have to start telling yourself what you will not do and will not tolerate. But like I said, I don't mind a problem. Life is going to throw problems at us. The Lord told us, He promised us, it's going to be, the world going to be against you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to feel like you're at a disadvantage. Um, you know, it's going to feel like what they say when the enemy comes against you, God lifts a standard up against them. The
That's right.
enemy is coming. You're gonna have problems in this life, cares of this life, and things like that. But at the same time, at some point, you're repeating or allowing the problems in your life to repeat because you won't change yourself. And so, one of those things, in not being a hypocrite, was I want new things in my life. So, nobody, I have only a certain amount of time. We all have just a little amount of, small amount of time to rely on other people to give us what we deserve or what we want or what we hope for. Banking on other people to provide what it is that makes you happy, you go bankrupt. Some point, sometimes you got to put your money on yourself. Sometimes you got to bet on you. Sometimes you got to bank on you. Put the bank behind yourself and change your life. Look,
Mm.
look for new opportunities. So I'm just enjoying the newness of life. And when you have a lot of people or your circles, your past relationships and things like that, they have no intentions of experiencing anything new. They like things the status quo. Leave it the same. Your actions in pursuing something new or minds in pursuing something new may be confusing to them. But it's like it's no hard feelings. You just ain't bringing nothing new to me. It's no nothing in personal, but you're not bringing nothing new to me. The best thing that I can do for you is to go out, pursue what is new for me, and then what I bring to you or bring to the table, to my circle, to my friends, to my loved ones, even that will be new. And so instead of trying to get them to look for something new like me, bank on me. Go get something new and then bring the new to them. And then by default, you being new or having new experiences, a new mindset, new conversation, new focus, new drive, new motivations, new passions, new
Mm-hmm.
philosophies, new morals, new whatever it is. Even if it's your spirituality, that newness, you can bring it to them and then they will have experienced something. So you know what I mean? That's what I'm on. Didn't mean to say a mouthful, but I said a mouthful. You know what I'm saying? But let's get
Set
this
them
show
out.
going because it's pressure. You feel me? Pressure around here. You know what I mean? Some of y'all don't know what that means, but we gonna learn shit. We gonna learn. So what we getting into today, man? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Shout out to everybody that's watching us on TikTok. You know what I mean? We appreciate you guys loving and following the channel, keeping in touch with us and following, liking the videos. We're going to flood y'all with more in the future as long as the algorithm allows it. You know what I'm saying? the algorithm. The algorithm allows it. Also, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. So anytime we drop something on YouTube, if you're subscribed, you'll get that notification so that you can follow us, get notified of all of our new content, where we're going, the path that we're paving, and everything that we got going on. And as always, we love y'all on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We know we've been dry. I was about to say something else. We know we've been dry heaving over there on on Instagram. We ain't nothing coming out. You know what I'm saying? But as we get inspired and motivated by life, by experiences, we're gonna give you guys those new life experiences that we're having. So don't forget to like, share this video with somebody that needs to be a part of. They need pressure in their life. They don't need to just, you know what I'm saying? They need pressure in their life. And comment while we talking because Ulysses loves the comments. And but don't
Me
try to
too.
distract us. You know what I'm saying? I like the comments. But there's gonna be times when me and Ulysses just get to talking and y'all just gotta let us flow. You know what I'm saying? Take this pressure with you when you go. But for now, what we talking about on this show?
Man, speaking of pressure, man.
Uh-huh.
I think
I think
one of the
one of the
beauties
beauties
of pressure, bro,
pressure, bro,
is
is
what it's
what
designed
it's
to bring out
designed
of
to
you,
bring out of you,
Mm.
right?
right?
And
And
sometimes we fall
sometimes
into
we
this,
fall into this,
this
this
life,
this life,
this cycle of life
cycle
that
of life
you alluded to
that you
earlier,
alluded
where
to
it's like,
earlier, where it's like,
at what point in
at
your
what
life do
point
you
in your
stop
life do you stop
doing the same
doing the
thing, or
same
start
thing, or
allowing
start
the same
allowing the
thing,
same thing,
or start
or
falling into
start
the same
falling
thing?
into the same thing?
So what
So
pressure
what pressure
does
does
is that it
is that it
forces you
forces
to
you
make a
to
decision.
make a decision.
Mm.
And so
And so
I
And
threw out the
cross.
I
title
threw out the
out there.
title out there.
Cross. No, go ahead. My bad.
So you want
So
the
you want the
lonely,
lonely,
Pressure brings
but
you to the
but
crossroads, huh?
it brings you to the
it brings you to the
crossroad, man,
crossroad, man,
because
because
what a lot
what
of
a
people
lot of
are
people
afraid
are
of
afraid of
when it comes to
when
this
it comes to this
crossroads
crossroads
is
is
the
the
uncharted
uncharted
territory
territory
that
Okay.
comes with
that
that
comes with
decision.
that decision.
Mm. Right.
Being in a
Being in
place
a place
that makes you
that makes
uncomfortable.
you uncomfortable.
But what if you're Indiana Jones in your heart and you're looking for uncharted territory? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
if you have that
if you have
adventurous
that
spirit,
adventurous spirit,
Mm-hmm.
then by all
then by
means
all
handle your
means handle
business.
your business.
Mm-hmm. But you're
But
saying
but
other people can't
But
handle that level of pressure.
there are certain
there are
people that are.
certain people
It's
that
not
are.
that they can't
It's not that they
handle it,
can't
bro.
handle it, bro.
They're
Okay.
They're
scared.
scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're
They're
scared
scared
of what
of
it will
what it will
bring to the
bring
table.
to the table.
Mm.
They are
They are
scared
scared
of
of
what it
what it
means
means
to
to
let
to
go
let
of what
go
makes them
of what
comfortable,
makes them comfortable.
Oh, deep.
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Because like we all
Because
have this
we all
thing
have this
of
thing of
like, yo, like,
like
um, I know
know
what I have to
what
do.
I have
Okay.
I know what I know
I know
the
the
pressure
pressure
on me
on me
because like an example, when you're dealing with single mothers as an example,
Okay.
a lot of them are scared to let go of the relationship because it means now that they got to handle something on their own.
Okay.
It means that they have to now step up to the plate and do everything. And this says I have a bad echo, so I think it's me. Um, Give me 1 second, my good people. So I'm gonna chime in, and I'm gonna go back out.
Hmm. Okay. Do what you got to do. You need an intermission.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna come back
Uh,
out and come back in.
all right. All right. All right. Breaker one, breaker two. Now that I got your attention and he's gone, you know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, what is he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. What kind of pressure? He talking about single mothers. You know how that's a touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? Why do you want to go straight for the explosion? You know what I'm saying? Why you want to walk on landmines tonight, my brother? What's really on your heart? You know what I'm saying? It's how we gonna get to the bottom of it, y'all, together. You know what I mean? We gonna figure out what he got to really say that he trying to get across to somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get it out of him. You know what I'm saying? Because he picked the topic he want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Pressure is what it is. But how does that relate to the topic that we're talking about? Oh, we're gonna unravel this thing, all right? Because he asked me what I wanted to talk about. I was like, man, I just want to get on the show and have a good time. And he was like, all right, well, you know what I mean? Cool. No subject. We just gonna jump on and have a good time. And then right before the show, he was like, I got a topic on my mind. I'm like, oh, you do? Okay, okay. And now he just, you know what I'm saying, where we going with this, bro? That's all I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody know in 2023, you got to watch what you say about women. You know what I mean? Period. If you want to be a man that is respected in society, you got to tread lightly. You know what I'm saying? It's not being no soft. It don't mean you soft. It just, recognize the climate. You know what I mean? Recognize the queens. Recognize the glory. You know what I'm saying? Recognize what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you get in that position where you running things, you're not always gonna make the right decision. You're not always gonna, like I just told y'all about new things, new experiences. You know what I mean? Sometimes the people around me are like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing whatever I want. I'm doing my thing." You know what I'm saying? When we got, how long we gonna do the same thing? But that newness or the newness of my experience and what it may change me to be or start, the new fears, the new anxieties, the new whatever, it'll bring on pressure. So tonight we talking about pressure. The example, you back?
I think so.
Mic check.
Mic check, mic check. Can y'all hear me loud and clear?
Y'all hearing me? Y'all hearing the echo?
I'm not hearing the
Let
echo.
us know. Let us know. Talk to us, chat.
Uncharted boundaries, people.
Yeah,
I see
we
the.
talking about uncharted boundaries. Now you talking
Mhm.
about, what I'm saying, single mothers. What's up? What's where we?
Well,
I can hear
because
you pick up. You know what I'm saying? What you where you was left off.
all right, cool, cool. She said better no echo. Dope, dope. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Appreciate that. So what the point that I was trying to make, man, real quick, is when it comes to uncharted boundaries, uncharted territories, people when in an example of single parents, where now they're being now
Single
this
mom specifically.
single mom specifically, these responsibilities
Uh,
have been placed on them. It could be
right,
a single dad too. I'm not saying there's single dads out there. Praise God for y'all too.
right.
There's a fear of what they can or cannot handle,
Okay.
right? So so this fear brings them to this place of what's next? What am I going to do? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to lean on? Can I lean on somebody? How come my baby daddy? How come my baby mama ain't doing what they're supposed to do? I mean, there's a whole lot of questions, a whole lot of fears, bro. And then they eventually find out that they
Mm,
can do these things, that they
mm,
can be a single parent, run the household, raise some good kids, and then be successful and the whole nine. But these uncharted territories have now turned to uncharted boundaries.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like how far?
I do kind of know. I know what you mean, but explain, for the folks that might not know what you mean.
Well, I'm here to stir the pot. You know what I mean? It's what I'm here to do. You know what I'm saying? So because when it comes to the pressure, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to whatever it is that you're dealing with, what again a prime example of being a single parent, or whether you're in a dealing with parents, or dealing with coworkers, or dealing with your spouse, or whatever the case is, are we afraid to move forward? Because since we're not comfortable with the landscape, we revert back to what we used to know. The like it's kind of like when the Bible says,
you mean financially? Like in
every
the
sense
case of the example, like the fear is knowing that you got to take on solo, you know what I'm saying, career versus Destiny's Child, but you know what I mean? So you got to take on the solo thing. Is that where the pressure lies, and just the fear of having to do more, or is the fear of who isn't doing enough?
Very good question. And that's a very good example of being afraid of the uncharted, because some folk will have to work 2 jobs to make ends meet,
right?
Because they can't rely on the bum or the bumette, as some people like to call it.
Hey, that was real judgmental. You know what I'm saying? Some people. Why they gotta be a bum?
Because
never mind.
I'm just telling them. Go ahead. I'm just telling the people what they saying. I'm not saying it. They saying it. You know what I mean? But sorry, man. My bad.
Now we listening.
We listening.
We the me.
No, go ahead. But Flavius is great. I just want y'all to know Flavius is great. Really, like it's the fear of the unknown can make people stall out. It can fear people. It could keep that fear from people from moving. Like there's the whole analogy of the acronym that fear is false evidence appearing real. Right? It's what I think I know is going to happen versus what is actually going to happen.
But what about when it's not false evidence appearing real? Like if an alligator was coming at me right now and I'm on a vacation trip to Florida and I just happen to come out there to see my homie, and I'm trying to experience the beautiful beach pictures that my homie be posting, and a gator come out that mug, that's not false evidence appearing real. That's real evidence appearing real. Fear is gonna show up.
Run.
I mean, but sometimes in certain situations, fear produces what is necessary.
Fear.
I know that's something that the church don't like to talk about. They like to be like, fear don't exist, it's imaginary. Don't worry about fear.
Don't speak that into my life.
Sometimes fear will lead you into doing something logical or wise.
How so?
Because wisdom is what? Applied knowledge, right?
Wisdom is applied knowledge.
Wisdom is applied knowledge. And the knowledge that I can't fight off an alligator. The knowledge that my bones probably might not survive a bite. Might twirl me, might break or something. I don't know. We ain't made of metal. We ain't made of metal. This ain't Terminator. We
Right.
made of flesh and bone.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge of alligators and how many teeth they got and how that could rip through my skin like toilet paper tissue will produce me to avoid this dangerous thing. And I would be seen as wise. So can wisdom come out of fear?
So
And if wisdom can come out of fear, is it fair to tell everybody to ignore their fears? Because there's a guy coming, there's a single parent out there who has real fears because they've experienced people letting them down, turning their back on them, not being there for them. They've experienced giving people chance after chance after chance, forgiveness after forgiveness, grace after grace, and they still do stuff. And then say they opt for a different provider or help or whatever the case may be. If help is what God gave the first man, then help can't be bad. But say you choose a different source of help, and this source of help looks exactly like this alligator. It looks exactly like this cheater. It looks exactly like this abandoner, this abuser, this whatever. And this new person that looks just like it, acts like it, talks like it, has an attitude, gets angry just like it. And I'm supposed to be like, fear is false evidence appearing real. So what I'm fearing about this person is not real. And then they feel like a fool or feel foolish sometimes when they experience exactly what they thought they were going to experience. But you can only feel like a fool when you had the knowledge and you didn't apply it. And some people are running into similar traits in other folks, and they are choosing not to mess with them people because this ain't false evidence. This is real evidence appearing real. And the wise thing to do would be to get out of here. Like you said about the gator, run.
Run.
But what if you only think fear is something that you need to ignore? What if there's another
Then,
side of fear that needs to be
you know,
embraced?
very, very good. Like, what is very, very dope about what you said, when it comes to that wisdom is applied knowledge. And we learn about the alligator not because of fear. We learned
Yeah,
the alligator because of the knowledge that we received.
right.
Now, what I do with that knowledge, right? Because, like, I have an
Yeah.
adventurous spirit, right? Like, I like to, you know, uh, test death every once in a while. I like to see what certain
All
things
right,
can
yeah,
do.
yeah.
I like to see what certain things can do. Like, I work with electricity, you know what I mean? And so they tell you there are certain parts of the things that you're not supposed to touch with your finger.
Yeah.
But here I am, got my and I'm touching that thing because I want to see how bad it hurts, you know? So,
When I
but
found that you was a storm chaser, I knew something was, something needed supervision.
right,
Yeah,
right.
a little extra intercessory prayers. Go ahead.
I take all the prayers I can get. I need them, But the thing is this is that I know how dangerous an alligator, a cougar, or a cheetah is based off the knowledge that I've received. Like there are certain things that I don't need experience.
So let me ask you, you just said there's certain things you don't need experience, but you also licking your finger and putting it on something that could shock you.
Right. Why? Because some people got to learn the hard way.
Mm.
How many
Mm.
times how many times have we had people around us, don't touch the stove, it's hot? And yet here we are wanting to see just how hot
Mm,
it is. We,
mm.
it's
Some
human
people
nature.
don't think that meat greasy. I feel you.
It's human nature for us to not listen to people when we want to do the very thing that they're telling us not to do.
Mm,
I hear what you're saying, but they're not like that.
yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I believe they can change. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't think you want me happy, yo. So we go for these things and then we realize, man, yo, Flavis was right this whole time. But I it wasn't that I didn't know or I wasn't told. What ended up happening was that I didn't listen.
Mm,
So now I'm in a situation. Now I'm in a relationship. Now I'm in a predicament that I can't seem to get out of because now I'm in love. Now I'm invested. Now I'm too even prideful to even want to get out because I don't want to tell nobody that I was wrong. So I'm going to make this thing work.
mm,
All because I walked into un I walked into not even this one's not even uncharted territory.
mhm.
There are people who've been there, done that, seen the land, seen the landscape, seen the patterns, and it's like, yo, I'm not trying to tell you what to do,
Yeah.
but there's always that but. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you know,
Uh,
but just know, like I got if y'all don't have a friend like Flavius, I promise y'all need to find one. Flavius will be like, I told you, but I got your back either way. I got your back either way. You know what I mean? Yes,
can't
sir. Go
say
ahead.
them friends. No,
Uh
fam.
huh.
I'm a, I'm a friend through thick and thin, man. And Ulysses can say the same thing, just about different things. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, man. Speaking of like relationships, things that people go through. Obviously, relationships is an issue when it comes to a parent or a single parent or something like that. Because there's always a thought frame or a mind frame of what others should be doing for you. And what I found by doing what I should be doing for others is that it's a lot easier to sit around and discuss what other people should be doing for you, how other people should treat you and talk to you. And when you don't put no effort behind holding yourself accountable, some people just hold themselves accountable first. And, they wave themselves in while they hold other people up and do inspections on everybody else. But a lot of times in relationships, we stay longer than we should. We don't leave when we ought to. You knew this was gonna be a deadbeat baby mama or deadbeat baby daddy when you got with them. Your only hope was to stay with them and things would be good, but you knew it would be hell if you separated and got was away from each other. You know what I mean? They be holding your money hostage, your baby hostage, your mental health hostage, male or female. Um, but when I started doing what I needed to do for others, I realized that it was a full time job. And I'm still, working myself up to the place where I'm touching everything and doing what I need to do for others. But there was a time prior to it where it was easier to say, and I realize that now. You will never realize that until you make the change. Until you really make that change where you're gonna start doing what's right for others. Really, not just saying it or being affiliated with what's right or being associated with what's right or trying to have a reputation of being right. But you really start trying to do what's right for others. You'll figure out the details of how it all, when the smoke clears, how it all goes later. But you just start somewhere. Maybe you're a terrible person, so where you start might not be the greatest place to stay, but it's a start. But if you never start, you'll always find yourself talking about how others should treat you and claiming that you got a standard. You'll be talking about how other women are treating you or how other men are treating you while you say you have a standard. That's one of the funniest things that people poke at in relationships is how many people vocalize their standards, but they're not living them.
Hmm.
They say that they only will give their time to an honest person, but they spending their secret time with a liar. They say they want somebody that's going to supply for them or be there and have their back and respect them and trust them, but they spending their time with somebody who has no intentions of ever trusting them. Same way with some baby mothers, they say that they want somebody to help them take care of something, but as soon as they get somebody, they're talking about how independent they are. They want you in secret, but at the same time, every time you go online while you at work, you see your baby mama on social media talking about how independent she is. As soon as you come home and let you miss a bill or let you miss something over here or didn't get something for the kids, all of a sudden I'm doing everything by myself, and that's the problem. But on social media, I'm doing everything for myself and I'm living my best life. Then you have some people, men, who are out here talking about the type of woman that they think that they're gonna get in their life. They publishing it. Don't be with this type of woman. They be with a woman that's gonna forgive and da 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 da. And the whole time they giving a secret time to somebody who holds record of every wrong. Tries to slap on other people's wrongs to tack on to make your wrongs seem like it's worth or it weighs more. But it's the fact that it's easier to because you don't have to change when you're focused on other people's change. You can ignore how unhappy people are with your changes, focusing and talking about other people's changes all the time. It's like what you said. There's a stalling that happens, that fear that kicks in. Whether it's fear that produces wisdom because you can apply some knowledge that you have based off of that fear, or is false evidence. But there's two sides to the coin of fear, and it's time for people to start acknowledging that because we're living that in reality, but we're trying to preach a philosophy that really doesn't, it's not applicable because it's one sided. Ignore it, ignore all of it. What happens when my baby mama that gave me a headache pops back up trying to give me another one? What happens when my baby daddy gets a line again and somebody's baby, my sister's baby daddy, start lying again and it all looks familiar? How long do you wait? How long do you stall? How long do you sit and stop moving? How long do you focus on others and give yourself the out before you make some sort of change? Yeah, it's uncharted territory. Yeah, it's unfamiliar. What you might have to do might be what you've been saying for years that you've never done. Some people have been saying things for years that they've never done.
So
Don't ignore the pressure. Let the pressure be real. Go ahead.
So what that does now, now we're gonna begin this transition.
Okay.
The title of the show is Uncharted Boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Bound.
talked about the territories. We talked about the things that you know what? I'm never gonna do this, la 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 la, with anybody. And anybody treats me this way, but then we end up, as Flavor said earlier, doing the very thing that we said we would not do. So, what does uncharted boundaries look like? Why are we scared, or why are we afraid to set these boundaries, but keep them and not keep them? Excuse me.
Mm. Because they're boundaries that you're unfamiliar with. Sometimes they're boundaries that you don't even want to have, but you need them. You know
Because you
that. Go ahead.
no. I was just repeating what you're saying, because when we actually set these boundaries,
Right, Chad. It's familiar. Go ahead.
and if we actually keep these boundaries, that means I may have to be alone. And for some of us, that's unfamiliar. That's uncharted.
Maybe you don't have to be alone. Maybe you just can't be committed. Because a lot of people that talk about how alone they are and how lonely they are, they're saying it to their friends. Who are they talking to when they say that they're lonely? Who are they talking to? They're obviously talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the fact that they don't have the company that they want. Not that they are completely alone. But when you have, I think people who are strong-willed and strong-minded have the biggest problem with this because they're so sure. You know, they know they got this conviction that other people couldn't understand if you explained it to them. Confident people, bold people, they have a conviction that's hard to break when they're convinced of something. And a lot of times, what they're struggling with is being convinced that there's a boundary. Out of all the boundaries they've set, the ones that they have are not adequate enough for this. Whatever this thing could be for someone. For somebody, it's it could be a number of things. You think about your personal scenario, and that's what it is. But whatever that thing is for you, that pressure in your life, a lot of times it may be a boundary that you don't even want to set. There's some people that keep people at a distance, and when all they really want is to be close with people. But they know that if they don't adopt this new boundary, that this thing will never change. And because it's not one that they chose, it's one that they have to pick up along the way.
Do
It's
you
one that
think
they have to enforce that they didn't. You don't start enforcing something new wholeheartedly. It takes some time to commit yourself to something new. But it's not a boundary that you're comfortable with. So obviously, people can bust through barriers that you don't even have fortified.
do you think that some people are scared to keep the boundaries because of the pain that it might cause them, or the pain that it may cause others?
That's a great question. Great question.
People in the comment section, y'all let us know. Is it hard
That was a
to
good
keep
one.
a boundary because you know the pain it's going to cause, whether it's to yourself or whether it's to somebody else?
Hmm. Well, why y'all comment and you know what I'm saying? I mean, alley oop to the comments, to the chat. I say personally, well, anybody say anything yet before I jump in there? Because sometimes when we speak on something, they think that's all it is.
Not yet, not yet.
All right, I'm just gonna conversate with my boy. You know what I'm saying? Have this conversation.
Yes, sir.
I think is because if you're not narcissistic, if you're not a selfish piece of shit, now what if you're not if you're not a terrible person,
Mm,
I think that it is a combination, and that's why it's overwhelming. Because some things that hurt you hurt others, and you can be conscious of both pains simultaneously. It doesn't have to be will they be hurt and I be okay, or I be they gonna be hurt worse than me or what. Sometimes it's the notion that this boundary is gonna hurt us both. This boundary is gonna prevent us both from what we want.
mm,
Because you can't get, I can't get, we can't, whatever. This boundary that we're getting ready to set right now is not something that I want. It's not something that you want, and it's gonna hurt us both. And a lot of times, like people can take their personal pain and go cry in the closet. You may never see me cry, but that doesn't mean I ain't no crybaby. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women, they don't want no man to see their tears. You know what I'm saying? They bosses out here in 2023. You feel me? Imagine what they're gonna be in 2024. But either way, we'll be here to see it. But they bossing up out here. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect it on every level, in every arena, and they often will go off in private and take a personal pain. How many women have you met that told you some story about abuse in their past? How many women or men have you ever met that told you about some sort of perversion or abuse or something that they went through in the past?
right.
A lot of times we keep those things to ourselves because we have tried to open up about it and somebody threw it in our face or something, or stumped all over it. You know what I mean? Pearls before swine. But anyway,
Mhm.
we'll take that private pain in our private place. But when it's a pain that you have to share, it almost becomes a memorial of pain. Every time you see that person, you feel that pain of that boundary. You had to stop them from being with you, but you keep seeing them post about, well, sometimes all I need is you might break up with a chick or put a boundary that may cause y'all not to be able to be around each other as much. And then next thing you know, when they post, they hitting you with the innuendos. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes all a woman needs is a man to just listen. Sometimes we don't need
Some
your advice
passive
or your
aggressive,
expertise,
yeah.
and we just need you to talk. Some men will get a whole lot further if they stayed out of their own way. You'll see something like that on this woman, and you know it's talking about you, but the emotion and the hard part is like, let's just get rid of this boundary and let me explain myself. You explain your. The harder part is to let the boundary stay, and you both live with that pain.
We do have a comment
Go ahead.
where it says, Persida says, I think some are not healed enough to be able to sit on those boundaries. Whew, that's heavy right there. Not healed enough to sit on those boundaries because it makes them face certain things about themselves that they don't want to deal with. It's easier to go back to what's familiar, if that makes any sense. And yes, ma'am, it
It does.
does.
Hearing that comment, man, I was thinking about like, a lot of people, because of the scriptures, say that God is their high tower. He's their fort. He's put a hedge of protection around me. I'm fortified by God. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the secret place of the secret place. So the idea of or the notion is that I'm safe in God, that I'm safe in my faith. I'm safe in Him, surrounded, safe. But what happens when the tower gets attacked and you're in this building and you got bombed? You know what I'm saying? And you've been going through some years of being what you say personally is the pain we both feel. That's right. But and you've been getting bombed for years in all kind of relationships, experiences, and whatever. You've been getting the short end of the stick, and you can't rebuild the boundaries that you used to have. You don't even have time to focus on those boundaries because something new is attacking you. It got through those boundaries. So now you put up this new boundary And the truth is, you really want to just go back to your old boundaries and keep those up because you were convinced that those were safe, but you don't have time to fortify those. You have to put everything into this new boundary.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're gonna be. But it wasn't there back in the day when you went through the last battle and the last war. This boundary is new to you. It hadn't been battle tested yet. It's barely holding up as far as you concerned. But when you get something new like a new car or anything, you're uncertain of it first until it's tested. And some people are not living longer. Some people are not doing. They don't want their boundary tested. They don't want that new boundary tested. They can't handle the testing of the boundary. So say me and you, as you say, you're right. He might not
He
admit the
may.
pain, but he feels it. That's true. I mean, we're human beings. I know sometimes we try to convince each other that we're something else, but we're human beings. So male or female, you feeling whatever the blows are. You feeling whatever the pain is. And sometimes you have to put a new boundary in so that and even though it's uncharted. What does uncharted mean? It hadn't been tested. It hasn't been tried. It's got to go through a process. It has to go through experiences. It has to go through a battle just so that you are secure in this new boundary. But a lot of us can't trust the boundary enough. We're so tired of the wars that we've been through before that knocked down our other boundaries. That this new one that we did, it's like, yo, I put everything into these boundaries to keep this liar out of my life, but another liar showed up. To keep this cheater out of my life, but another cheater showed up. To keep this, you know, verbally abusive person out of my life, but then another verbal abusive person showed up. But it is the fact that the new boundaries haven't been tested. A lot of us, like I said, you might the fact that you know how I know? Because even though the boundary is to separate you from, say, a woman is putting up a boundary to separate me from herself from me. She don't block me on her phone. She done told me clearly she don't want to talk to me no more. It's a wrap. You sorry, scrub. You whatever. You weak. You ain't whatever you think you are. They done blocked me, deleted me off of stuff. They done put a boundary up. This is new between me and this person because we was able to go back freely through this area, but now there's this new boundary.
Mm-hmm.
But what do? We peek over the boundary. Let me check a post. Let me see if they're talking about me. Let me see if I can read into this GIF or this meme that they just put. Oh, they talking about me. Oh yeah, who else could they be talking about? Better not be talking about nobody else. Because you know what I'm saying? Because it's too soon to have a new dude in their life anyway. So it's the fact that you're not comfortable with that boundary. You don't let that boundary do what you put it there to do. You're not letting it be tried and tested. You're peeking over the boundary. You're weakening the boundary by trying to see what's going on the other side. That person is saying stuff, sending messages over the boundary, and it'd be easier to just take it away and deal with the war. I'd rather fight. I'd rather be in something toxic. I'd rather just deal with this than what it's going to take for me to maintain or uphold this boundary.
That's
But a
good.
lot of times, those same people who try to meet people today try to convince each other. We all salesmen and women now in 2023. We're all trying to sell each other on our good points. We also opening up the books, being vulnerable, so you can see, the bad stuff, the skeletons in the closet. Now, let me show you the books.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Mm-hmm.
you a full audit of who I am and my relationship history and status so that we can, get together and have a fair exchange. And at the end of it, what I'm saying, when we've been transparent, the truth is, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. You're going to go through familiar things.
No,
But if you
it's
don't
powerful.
take a chance, it's not just about taking a chance, it's about maintaining those, getting comfortable in uncharted territory. Go ahead.
No, it's Poseidon says some folks just set boundaries minute by minute instead of taking time and realizing they need long term. You know,
And some boundaries
it's
you
a very
gotta
powerful.
try for a little while, and you change, switch it up. Go ahead.
No, you know what is so intriguing about Uncharted Boundaries and why we have a hard time keeping them. You know, we you know, everybody has their justification. Everybody can say, well, this is the reason why I've done X, Y, and Z. This is the reason why I know what I said, but
Yeah.
I'm backing up because of take your pick. You know, it's a situation where there has to be a point in your life where understanding that whether we want to admit it or not, speak it or not, depending on, you know, whatever the case is, in any relationship,
Yeah.
you're bound to be disappointed. You're bound to be hurt at some point or another. And so what it really boils from, like, when you look at it from the outside looking in, you know what, you know, looking at that at the big picture, being afraid or being timid, you know, or what I'm starting to see is I'm setting boundaries because I don't want to get hurt. But I'm not even convinced of my own boundaries.
That they'll work, or that they're
I'm
worth.
I'm not convinced of setting my own boundaries because I don't really fully understand my own value. So I say I'm not going to allow this no more, but I allow it to take place because I'm not convinced of my own self worth. I'm not convinced that this is how I need to be treated. This is how I need to be talked to. This is how I need to move forward, you know, in my life, whether I'm dealing with a spouse, while I'm dealing with a parent, or while I'm dealing with coworkers, or whatever the case is, because we are all doomed to repeat these same scenarios.
Hmm.
Whether it be with the person that you're talking to now or the person you're gonna be dealing with 6 months down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be doomed to repeat the same scenario
Hmm.
because I am not convinced, bruh, of my own boundary. I am not convinced that I can really keep it. Like, I'm looking for a reason to break my own boundary, even when it's not realistic,
Hmm.
because I want to keep this said thing. I want to hold on to this relationship. I want to hold on to this person that I'm, you know, to this parent that I've been trying for years to get love and affection from. I'm trying so hard to keep what I have that I am willing to find reasons, find excuses, justify why it's okay for me to break my own boundary.
Hmm. Man.
And it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It's no bueno
Mm-hmm.
because all I'm doing is now repeating my past.
Hmm.
The very thing that I got out of is the very thing that I'm putting myself back in.
Mm.
I'm putting myself back in it. I am allowing myself to hurt my own self. It's literally, I use the analogy many, many times over. It's the person that you're dealing with has the weapon to hurt you, to disappoint you, to discourage you, to say whatever, to do whatever. And I'm the one that's giving them the ammo. Here you go. I'm giving this to you, but I know this time you're not gonna shoot me
But at
because
least that.
you saw that it hurt me last time, so why would you do it again?
And saying that, I'm from coming from, say that's, your personal situation, and in your real life you used to be a soldier for the United States Army, and in that situation you would never hand a bullet to someone shooting you. So what's causing the illogical to happen when the knowledge is there? What is causing you not to apply knowledge and use wisdom in one area, to not use the same wisdom that you obviously possess in another?
Why am I looking at this alligator like I can pet it
Yeah, yeah,
when I know what this alligator gonna
yeah.
do? Like there was I saw a Steve Irwin quote, and if anybody who don't know who Steve Irwin is, he's the famous um, Australian animal guru. Oh,
Mm.
cranky, you see something right? That
Crikey,
it
crikey.
was that guy, and he said something, and I love the fact that we use the alligator as an example because he said alligators are easier to deal than people because at least with the alligator, that they want to bite you and kill you. With people, they will bite you and kill you. Toxic relationships will bite you and kill you, but act like they're your friend.
And still using the same guy, unfortunately, as an example, he's the type that would lick his finger and touch the electric pole because it wasn't a human being, even though he said he can't trust the people. And he knew what the alligator could do. Yet, I believe it was an alligator that led him to his demise. Chad
It was
says these boundaries are so inconsistent. One day blocked, couple days later unblocked. You want to change, but change doesn't happen. Or you want change, but change doesn't happen. It's like Groundhog's Day. Same scenarios, no change. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Chat. This is the type of chat I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I could get jiggy with the Groundhog Day. You know what I mean? I understand
we
where it's
love the
coming
movie
from.
analogies. We
You know
love
what
the
I'm
movie
saying?
analogies here.
Chat says, yes, the enemy will use people to hurt you because he hates God. Uh huh. And he might use you to hurt someone else. So awareness is important. Can awareness is important. Are y'all
Mm-hmm.
ready for a pressure wake up call?
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you with this dilemma? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Because because
mm-hmm.
while you were talking, man, you know what I was thinking about? It sounded like the same, a very similar conversation that I've heard about people that say that they go to the gym and want to work out and lose weight. See, what a lot of people do is there are more people who have gotten into the gym and gotten out of the gym and gotten into the gym again and gotten out of the gym and gotten into the gym again and gotten out of the gym. There's more people that do that. There's more people that do that you than people that are actually staying in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Why that is? Because when they jump in the gym, they go in trying to lift what they think. they look like they should be able to lift. They start with the biggest weights. They start with the longest workout. They start with the hardest regimen. Uh-huh. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And they go big. It's not go big or go home. It's go big, then go home. But what the people that stay in there, you know what they do? The people that stay in there are the people who started off with the smallest weights. They're in there because they're not concerned about who sees them. They're in there because they're not concerned about who's watching how many times they come. They're in there because it's a part of their lifestyle and they started off in a realistic place. And what's happening with a lot of people in their boundaries is they're going for the biggest boundaries when the truth is they can't even uphold the smallest boundary.
Ooh.
How many times have you broke a boundary with somebody like was said in the chat? We blocked them and then we unblocked. All right, that's the big boundary. What about the small boundary when you was just like, you know what? Hey, yo, I just need a day. I just need some time. I just need a minute. Let me just get some time away, clear my mind, and then, I'll hit you up tomorrow or something like that. Just give me a minute. How many times have you said, yo, we just gonna take a little quick break? We obviously ain't seeing eye to eye on this. We both steamed, hot headed. We saying a lot of things that we really probably don't want to say to each other. Let's just pause for a minute, give each other a little space, and then we're gonna get back together. How many times have you said that and then broke it before you ever before your own timeline? Say you said, let's just give 24 hours, one day. Let's just not talk. How many times have you said, we're going to give each other space, not talk today, but you still took that phone call? You still read those text messages that day. And you think that you have the ability to uphold the heavy boundaries? It sounded the way you were talking that you keep reliving these moments, or people that go through these scenarios keep reliving these moments, keep going through these disappointments because they're going for the biggest boundaries when the truth is they haven't even learned how to uphold the small ones. You can't even give yourself 24 hours. How you going to give yourself an out of a whole relationship? You know what I'm saying? People like that break up and get back together and break up and get back together and break up and get back together. I've been there. You know it. Chad says sometimes we know what we need, but we let what we feel overpower us. Again, the pressure that we all try to alleviate ourselves by putting pressure on others or identifying the pressure of others or being pressure to others when we can't handle the pressure ourselves. You can't give yourself a day. How you gonna give yourself a breakup? You can't even you can't
Preach.
even you can't even give yourself control of your own mouth when you get angry, but you want somebody else to control theirs when they get angry. Make it
Preach.
make sense. It's just like somebody who goes to the gym, bro. People are trying to lift heavy boundaries and uphold them and prove to people this is it. This is it now. And I know you don't understand this is it, but I'm gonna show you because you can't. If I wait on you, you ain't gonna never stop coming at me. So I gotta do this for us. Or she's saying you speaking the truth. Probably too much, you know what I'm saying? And if this wasn't a show about pressure, I might give myself an out, but I ain't looking for one. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
We got a new year coming. I
We
ain't
want the
ducking
truth
no
and nothing
pressure.
but the
I'm
truth.
ducking no smoke. And y'all shouldn't either because the truth is it's not making our lives any better. Everybody ran out 2022, 20, as soon as the pandemic was over, we live in our best life. Before the pandemic started, we live in our best life. Lil Duval hit us off with the motto, the anthem, and we was all out here, buying shrimp, steaks, and lobsters. You know what I'm saying? Going on all kind of trips all over the world, trying to live our best life. How are we having so many new experiences? but so many similar disappointments. How are you living in a different area code but experiencing the same thing with a man? How are you talking to a woman in a different area code but experiencing the same thing you experience with a woman locally? It's because you're trying to uphold big boundaries. Listen, here's what I would say. You know what I'm saying? Here's what I would say to the firm, to those that want to be firm. You know what I'm saying? Even in the midst of the pressure. This is what I would say to you. Stop making every incident. At work, you know what I'm saying? Whenever there's an incident, you got to record the incident. You got to do a write up. You got to do paperwork, blah, 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 blah. Stop. This is one of the things that I got a supervisor who comes to me and vents, and he be mad that he done gave a write up. There's supposed to be a verbal, written verbal. Then next is your first write up, then your second write up, then your suspension or something like that, and then you're out the door. He gets frustrated because HR told him every incident that is different gets a new verbal. So you can't just tack on a written and a second written just because this person had two incidents. You have to start them on square one for that incident. It's time for us to get back to square one. And the only person that stands at square one is you. It's before the game gets started. You're in the box. So if you're in the box and you're at square one, the truth is stop killing yourself, driving yourself crazy, getting extra gray hairs, losing sleep because every incident that's happening in your relationship with a person, they're at write up number two already because they've done something three times. They've had four incidents your whole relationship and you're already ready for suspension. I think we need some time away. They're on there, they've done five things and you're ready to kick them out of the door when all five things were not related.
Mm.
It's easy to group a person's fault and drop the hammer on them. It's harder to deal with a person's faults individually because that means you might have to deal with more than what you want. Instead of two, you might have to deal with five. Well, put your big girl pants on, put your big boy pants on. Start with the little weights. Quit jumping to the big weights. Start with the little boundaries. Quit jumping to the big boundaries. It's the fear that's causing people to compound issues. They
The fear
they
of being
yelled
hurt.
at you. They yelled at you 3 months ago. They yelling at you again. See, you always yelling. This is about a whole different situation. Yeah, but you be yelling. No, you can't compound these issues. This is a whole different topic, a whole different context, whole different situation. Let's just deal with that and stop going to the end of the world. Stop looking for Armageddon and what I'm saying, the end of days to happen on the next time somebody mess up and hurt your feelings. And quit being a baby, toughen up. But the way that you stay in the gym and quit getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out, is you start small. Be realistic with yourself. Be realistic where you are. Start there. The
That's
boundaries
good.
should be the boundaries to keep your peace of mind before you try to text somebody about what they're doing to disrupt your peace of mind. Stop calling for a minute. Gather your mind. Get your peace of mind first, and then you might approach the situation totally different. But we got to start with the small boundaries. Those are uncharted, not because they're not familiar, but because you've been ignoring them for so long. You ever seen something so old that it seemed new? We watched Back to the Future and them boots he had on and Marty McFly had on years ago. They Nike just came out with them a handful of years ago, and we like, oh my God, they self lace. They're supposed to dry themselves off in some other scientific stuff that they told us in that movie, but they don't. They glow. Oh, great. It doesn't matter. It has to do with timing and being real with yourself and your process. If you're struggling with boundaries, it's probably because you're lifting too heavy. Get back to the smaller boundaries. Start there. Your relationship might make it if you stop rushing to World War III. You know what I'm saying? If you stop going to DEF CON, like what you say earlier, You're doomed if you don't. If we stop rushing to the doom and gloom mindset and start with our own small boundaries that we're not keeping for our own selves, you're gonna stay in that race. You're
Man,
gonna keep repeating that crap.
one of the best advice that I got, because there was a time period where, because people, they deal with certain fears when it comes to being hurt, when it comes to being disappointed. You could look at somebody's past relational experiences, whether dealing with a parent, spouse, divorce, whatever the case is, and everybody has their valid reason why they are the way they are. And one of the best advice that I'm learning to do is to be still.
Hmm.
Being still is one of the hardest things to do, and being still requires you to actually take the time and try to hear the voice of God and what it is that He wants you to do. And being still requires a level of humility. Being still requires to not react, because my biggest thing is I'm only responding to what you're doing. I'm only giving you the same energy that you giving me. Funny how you don't like it when it happens to you, right? Like we've all been there and we've all done that.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Stop trying to repay people wrong for wrong. You know what I'm saying? How about that? How about you stop? How about people stop trying to repay people for the bad they did, just so as if that's the only way they can understand.
I think
Sometimes,
I
man, I say one thing that people don't do when they be still is a lot of people don't acknowledge other people's pain. A lot of people don't acknowledge other people's trauma. Often because that trauma is brought up at an inconvenient time in the relationship, because it comes off so we it's met with get over it, how it was a long time ago, blah 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 blah. But even as a leadership in any level, sometimes you find a better approach or connection when you try to be understanding to what a person goes through.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just want to be the person that everybody understands as opposed to understanding others. Or we come with deals. We're bargainers. Some people are dealers. They're like, yo, I'll understand your pain if you understand mine. Yo, I'll be I'll be good to you as long as you be good to me. I'll do that, but it's always this quid pro quo. Nobody's doing anything selfless. Nobody's doing anything genuinely for others. That's why I said earlier when I started doing what I needed to do for others, new things came into my life, my perspective changed. But often we give ourselves an out when the truth is, how many people have you met that have not let you down versus how many people you have met that have? And if the statistics and the studies and the experience shows that you run into more people that let you down, why are you still giving so many people a chance? You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, the person scratching a lotto ticket has been losing for 10 years is probably not to be trusted with your money. You know what I'm saying? They can't see a loss even when it's happening to them daily
Mhm.
because they're so focused on the win that they want. Some people want something so bad that they're not being honest about why they're pursuing others. They really just want something that they had before. And the only way to really get it is to go back to what they had. And everybody they meet doesn't know it. They think this person wants a new experience, but the truth is they just want what they had again. And so this person is like, man, you letting me down. You disappoint me. We bringing up all these different issues that it could be. But I mean, at this point, if you meet somebody who's not an expert in relationships, you're probably in a foreign country or something. Americans know everything there is to know about it. The ABCs, the one, two, three, we all experts on what it is and what it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's radar on relationships is booming. You know what I'm saying? We are experts on people. So how can we have so much knowledge but still be experiencing the same stuff? How do you know that so many people are liars, but you keep letting liars in?
Mm-mm-mm.
It's because you don't look in the mirror and you don't hold yourself to the same standards you hold in other people. Those uncharted boundaries are human nature. In the beginning, God put a boundary between the garden and man. Boundaries are a part of creation, nature. They are necessary. They are. Trespassing wouldn't even be a word if there was no such thing as a boundary. And a lot of times, what we're doing is we're putting hedges up that we will open to anybody, like you said, or like the chat said, because we have a need and our need is superseding what we will or won't do. And you knew the person was not good for you when you met them. The red flags hit the first 2 weeks, but here you are, year two. You know what I'm saying? Only if it ends, you're gonna find yourself around your friends and your peers talking about what? I knew it. I knew it all along. I knew that dude wasn't no good. I knew she was gonna let me down. Whatever it is that you knew, the truth is a lot of us ignore what we don't know. And that's how you feel foolish because you're not applying knowledge. You know you should be wiser, but you're not being seen as wise. So that's why people be trying to got so much conviction in their mouth because they like, please believe me, I would never, because they always do. You never have to convince somebody. I never have to convince somebody that I'm gonna be wearing a hat, even though I got hair, might be looking crazy, but I never have to convince somebody. It's when I walk to work and I don't have a hat on, everybody be like, "Man, I barely recognize you, man." You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Certain things can be set in stone, but if you are not firm, if you are not set in stone, if you are not solid, then anybody can come play with your emotions. Most people try their best to keep their emotions in check all day. How are people coming into your life playing with your emotions?
Man.
Because you're not as solid as you think you are.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But listen, y'all, you know, this is a sign that order in the court, order in the
Water.
court. We want that order in the court, people. Listen, y'all, this has been an amazing show with
Good
an
topic.
amazing topic.
Good topic.
Can't thank the chat
Enough.
enough for the conversation that y'all been having out here. Some great jewels, some great wisdom that has been dropped throughout the show. If you believe that somebody can be blessed or somebody can learn a thing or two from this topic, please share this video.
Yes.
Share it with your friends, share it on your timeline, share it on your messenger, whatever it is that y'all got to do, because I learned a thing or two, so it is a beautiful thing. And if you haven't already, please go to the F.I.R.M on Facebook at the F.I.R.M 365 24/7 on Facebook and also on Instagram and at YouTube and TikTok. Search for at the F.I.R.M 365. Make sure you subscribe to that channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you do all that wonderful stuff on YouTube and also on TikTok as well. We're working on some new content, doing some new things. We are revamping the show
Yeah.
to be a little more
Under
dicey,
construction.
to be a little more dicey, a little more controversial, a little more stirring the pot, just because it is really, y'all, it's necessary. You know what I mean? Without stirring the pot, without being a little controversial, then what is it that we're really here for? We're
If
not,
this guy lets me on, we're going there. When he
we
decides to, what I'm saying, we're going there. And he is
it's
too.
about to
When you
go.
look, when you got off, I was like, he's going somewhere with this. We gotta figure out what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get up underneath this thing. And we did, you know what I'm saying? We found out that there are some boundaries that we set that it's hard to uphold because we can be better. There's room for improvement. We can be stronger. We can be firmer. You know what I'm saying? We can accept the pressure. You know what I mean? There's nothing out there that's the image of anything. How can you be the image of something if you haven't been pressurized and set, if you're not firm? He's still molding you. I don't care who you think you are, where you think you're at in life. He's still molding you. He's still putting the pressure on you because you are not the image yet that he wants you. But he gonna sculpt you and get you and press you, not past all your screaming and crying. And Lord knows, you know what I'm saying? I'll share a tissue with anybody out there. But either way, God is intending to put pressure in your life, not to break you. You think you can be broken. He believes that you're unbreakable. Keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Stay firm, stay true. You listen, man. You got anything
Absolutely.
else you want to say?
The last thing I want to say to you guys is, regardless of where you are in life,
Mm, mm,
regardless of how far you think you are falling,
mm,
just know that without a shadow of a doubt, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. The dramas,
mm,
the traumas, the disappointments, the discouragements, the highs and the lows, and the happiness and the glad, you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
man.
Enjoy the process. Enjoy where you at. Learn. Learn. The biggest thing, if there's any boundary that you need to set for your life tonight, is to be still and learn where you at.
Mm, mm, mm.
Learn where you at. Learn, and I'm saying that purposely. Learn where you are at.
Right.
It's you're driving to a whole new city. You know what you're not gonna do?
Mm,
You are not gonna learn where you at. That's what you're not gonna do. You gonna learn your surroundings.
mm, mm,
You're gonna learn how to get to point A to point B. Yes, you might have to use Google Maps, GPS, whatever the case is, but at the end of the day, you're gonna learn where you at. Learn where you are at. Why are you where you are today? And enjoy that process, y'all. Enjoy that
mm,
process. So,
mm,
with that
mm,
being
mm,
said, you
mm.
guys, y'all
You know
already
what
know
I'm
the
saying?
drill.
I don't know what it is. At the firm 365 24/7 at the firm 365. Either way, I was about to say anywhere and either way at the same time. Either where you go. You already know what time it is. We already pushing this culture, and you know what the culture is. The culture is to strengthen you, to see the best in you. And as long as you ignore the wounds in you, then you know what I'm saying? Healing today is like a metaphor. It can last forever. But anybody that goes to a doctor that heals up forever, that doctor will tell you that you have a whole nother issue. You know what I'm saying? So not looking good. It's taking you way too long to heal up. Maybe there's an infection. Maybe there's always some reason why the healing is taking longer than its natural course. So if you've been healing for years, find out what is preventing you from healing. Stop just saying that you're gonna heal and you're in a healing phase when you know you said it 2 years ago in 2021. Figure out what is infecting you, what is already on the inside sometimes that is preventing you from healing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it ain't what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. And that's pressure. You know what I'm saying? So be back next week. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back on next week. Look for us. Tell somebody about us. Be back with us next time. Share this video. We want more views and more likes and more, you know what I'm saying, love. We're trying to get to the nations internationally known, you know what I'm saying, so that we can tell somebody that their problems are probably not the problems they think. They just need a better perspective on pressure. You feel me? And with that being said, you listen, man, we out, bro. You out? I'm out. I guess we out. Holla at your boys. Yeah.